Now, no records have been found in the White House of any talks on the Kashmir issue between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump. Remember, Trump's daughter Ivanka had mentioned the meet between the two leaders during her address at the G20 summit in Osaka. And she didn't mention the Kashmir issue while describing the interaction between Trump and Prime Minister Modi. Now we are joined by our WION correspondent, Sudan Sybil. Good afternoon to you, Sudan. What is the latest on this release by the fact that there have been no records found of any mention of the Kashmir issue between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump?
Well, what I can say is during the Osaka meeting between the U.S. President Donald Trump and the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, there was no mention of Kashmir because, remember, after that there were two briefings, one by the American side, one by the Indian side. By the American side, there was a statement by Ivanka Trump, the daughter of U.S. President Donald Trump. She released the video. There was no mention of Kashmir in that. And, of course, there was a briefing by the Indian side as well where WION was present. India mentioned 5G. India mentioned Iran, but no, there was no mention of Kashmir. And now it clearly shows that there is no record of Kashmir by the both sides, whether it's by the Indian side or whether it's by the American side. And of course, exposes what the U.S. President said yesterday, that Kashmir was discussed and that the Indian Prime Minister had called for mediation on this issue. This, of course, is now being slowly clarified. Also remember that the statements are now being given by the State Department, by the U.S. Congressperson. In fact, the State Department even tweeted that this is a bilateral issue and both sides have to solve it by sitting together. The American side can assist, but there was no mention by the State Department tweet. But we know that U.S. President has said something. The Indian government, of course, has rubbished it. The External Affairs Minister spoke in the Parliament and said that not only categorically assured the Parliament that there was no suggestions by the Indian Prime Minister, but by and large the damage has been done. Now diplomats from the both sides, whether it's from Washington or whether from New Delhi, they will sit together to make sure or salvage the situation just ahead of the Indian Prime Minister's visit to United States in September. But now, of course, it's becoming increasingly clear that there is no record of any mention of Kashmir during that meeting which happened 3 weeks ago in Japan, in Osaka, on the sidelines of G20 summit.
Now, Sudan, it's quite clear that the issue of Jammu and Kashmir is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. It is reiterated in both the Simla Agreement of 1972 and reiterated in the Lahore Declaration of 1999. There is clearly no discrepancy there. What does this mean for India following Trump's statement?
Well, India has a long-standing policy when it comes to any dispute between India and Pakistan that goes by the Simla Agreement and Lahore Declaration. What these two accords basically mean that there will be no third-party intervention when it comes to any issue between India and Pakistan. But increasingly, Pakistan, isolated at a global stage, is keen to internationalize Kashmir. That has been a policy by successive governments in Pakistan because they want to divert the attention domestically. Because now Imran Khan, when he goes back to his home countries and he goes back to Islamabad, he has something to tell to the domestic audience. So Pakistan will be keen to use this as a propaganda tool. But remember that even though U.S. President might have said something, of course, we do expect a U-turn very soon also because going by what Trump has been doing in the past. But nothing can change the status quo when it comes to India and Pakistan. Even if Pakistan tries its level best to internationalize the issue, India's policy remains there will be no mediation. And also, remember when U.S. President Donald Trump mentioned yesterday about Kashmir, in the second line he mentioned that if something has to be done, he will speak to the Indian Prime Minister, and only if he agrees, only if India agrees. India will never agree for any mediation when it comes to any issue bilaterally between India and Pakistan because of the long-standing policy which have been put under the Simla Accord and the Lahore Declaration. So clearly, Pakistan may be having a delusionary moment right now that maybe things will change, but things are not going to change. And when it comes to any mediation, India will reject it.
Thank you so much for that report. Unfortunately, we'll have to leave it there. That is our correspondent, Siddhan Sybil, bringing us the latest on Trump's latest blundering statement on Pakistan and India.